A man who doesn't know the meaning of fear, doesn't know the meaning of defeat or cowardice or innovation. So if anyone's got a dictionary after me, if you'll perhaps give it to our next roaster, Mr. Les Andrews.
Sonia says, take off your bloody glasses. I'm here to give you the facts of life. The facts about Joe and Julie. There haven't been any so far that I'm aware of. The Dewey family go back, right back to the beginning of time, right back to when they were called the Jews. Jew to, Jew back, Jew north, Jew south, Jew east. Unfortunately, they had great trouble, his family, away back in the dim past ages, when they started losing their teeth. They found it difficult to pronounce Jew east. Sounded like Jewish. That wasn't any good, because they didn't get them anywhere in London, so they shortened it to Dewey. So they go right back to Deuteronomy, which was the original, and Jew Lux, which is where Joe got his talent for painting. Anyway, Joe, as we've heard, started off as a barrow boy, shepherd's bush, and he's rapidly discovered he wouldn't make a fortune out of that, even putting his hand on the scales as he did the weighing in. And he used to slip into the shepherd's bush empire and watch the variety shows, see the comedians that worked there. You think, why Christ, I could do that. And so he borrowed Joe Miller's joke book, learned a few jokes, and got an act together, did a few auditions, and eventually he got a job as a second comic in a variety show travelling the Smalls in Britain. He finished up one weekend in Balmoral in Scotland. Saturday night, did the show, and you know, Joe, of course, is a painter. Wherever he went, he took his paintings with him. His pièce de résistance. Come in, everybody. A French girl who struggles. Come in, says Morris. Was his version of the Mona Lisa. He had a little bit of trouble with it because when he got to painting the mouth, he'd been on the bash the night before and his hand trembled a bit, so instead of getting an enigmatic smile on it, he got a supercilious grin. So instead of calling it the Mona Lisa, he called it Mona Lot. Come in, Itmar. Ted Kavanagh. Anyway, when he was in Balmoral, the Art Society there decided to have an art exhibition in the church hall on a Sunday, and they invited Joe to exhibit some of his works. And he was delighted, of course, to do that. So there he is on the Sunday with his paintings, and as it happened, the Queen and Prince Philip had been to church that day, and they dropped into the hall after church to have a cup of tea and a couple of biscuits. And the convener of the arts exhibition introduced Joe to the Queen. Well, he was overwhelmed. There was the Queen with a hand out, you know, and Joe didn't know whether to kiss it or shake it. And he thought, well, I said, I don't know what to do, but he thought, well, I've got to make a leg and do a bow, I suppose, but unfortunately, it had a good feed of tripe and onions for lunch, and washed down with a pint of Younger's strong ale. And as he bent low over the Queen's hand, making his obeying songs, he broke wind, which reverberated around the hall like a clap of thunder. He was so embarrassed and devastated, his only thought was to get as far away as he possibly could. So that's when he decided to emigrate to New Zealand. Well, he came out here, of course, being a pearly king in London wasn't much cop. I mean, there were thousands of them doing it, and Leon Cortez had the whole scene sewn up. So, but he was quite popular here, and he started doing a few shows, and, you know, he's a funny sort of geezer, and in his early outfit, he was quite popular. And he got kind of friendly with a lady who was quite an extrovert, and she used to run these parties, fun shows, you know, everybody had fun, and she would have everybody dress up, you know, come as a film star, come as a television personality, come as a sports star, and everybody sort of and they joined in the fun, and she got a great, you know, she was that sort of lady, and so everybody sort of took along a little present which she would auction and give the proceeds to charity, you see. So Joe got to know her, and this lady was Elise Ramsbottom. She had a beautiful home and extensive gardens, and she had just recently employed an Italian gardener. He'd only just come out, didn't speak much English at all, but he stood about 6'4" in his socks. He weighed in at about 118 kilograms, and he was muscles up to his eyebrows. Anyway, she decided to run an extra special party. This was going to be the be-all and end-all of all parties. And, of course, she invited Joe along because he was the life and soul of the party in those days. Bring something old and something new, she said. So Joe was a little bit worried about what he should bring along. He had a look around an antique shop one day, and he saw an exact replica of a medieval chastity belt. Cast iron, complete, with padlock and key. And he thought, that would be marvellous. I'll take that along. So he got this. It was made by some local forge. A forgery, I believe. Okay. Anyway, he took that along and presented that to Elise, and she was overjoyed. He said, oh, it's marvellous, such a wonderful idea, Joseph, she said. What a great idea you have here. And she said, it's wonderful. And her Italian gardener who was there, Bruno Monticelli, he didn't know what the hell was going on. And she was trying to explain it to Bruno. She says, chastita belta, Bruno. He didn't come on at all. So anyway, somebody said, try it on. So, oh yes, she said, what a great idea. So she went up into the bathroom, tried it on, came down, and she said, it's a perfect fit. It's wonderful. Thank you very much, Joseph. She said, this is wonderful. Now she said, I have got a special announcement to make. This is the reason we're having this party tonight. At 11 o'clock this morning, Bruno and I went to the registry office and we got married. Tonight, we're going on our honeymoon, and Bruno is taking me back to Italy. I'm so excited. And everybody thought, this is marvellous. And right there she said, now Joe, give us the key. I better get out of this. So he looked in his pocket. Was I only here? No. He looked in the other pocket. No. He looked in his trouser pocket, and things were going quiet. With people getting a little bit quiet. Turned out all these pockets, couldn't find the key. The only sound coming was Bruno, who was upstairs packing, singing his version of Tonight, Tonight, I want to be just many died. And so she started to panic, Elise. She started to panic. What am I going to do, Joe said. What am I going to do? Where's the key? And somebody said, ring the fire brigade. So they went off, somebody went off, rang the fire brigade, and in no time there was the sounds of sirens outside. A fellow in full fireman's uniform, complete with helmet, burst through the front door, clutching the nozzle of a great hose. He says, where's the fire? So Joe explained the situation. He says, there's no fire, there's this lady here has got a terrible predicament. And so he said, are you aware, we've got 3 appliances out there, they're holding the traffic up for about a half a kilometre down the road. Ringing the fire brigade on facetious occasions like this can bring a very heavy fine. So Joe took him aside and explained the situation. He says, look, Bear, mate, he says, get us out of this trouble, will you? So the fireman said, well, here's a 3-cornered file. He says, that might help you out of your trouble. And with that he took off, and the fire brigade departed and left Joe with his 3-cornered file. So he said to Elise, he said, oh, well, let's go back up into the bathroom. He said, so they go up back into the bathroom, and Bruno is up there, and he hears this strange noise coming from the bathroom. So you can imagine his reaction when he opens the door and he looks in, and he finds his bride with nothing on, sitting on the toilet, and Joseph with a shower cup pulled over his head and down over his eyes, rasping away at something between her knees. After about 3 weeks, when he'd recovered and was starting to take in solid food again, he got back onto the entertainment circuit, and Mary Thrall got him a job at the Cosmopolitan Club in Ekatahuna one Saturday night. So Joe, you know, being a painter, he took his paintings down, because whenever he got the chance he liked to show his paintings, turn on a little bit of an exhibition. And so he did the show at the Cosmopolitan Club in Ekatahuna, and they were both overjoyed with what Joe did there. On the Sunday, he set up his exhibition in the main street outside the coffee shop, and as it happened, the Queen and Prince Philip were visiting the country again, and they were driving up from Palmerston North to Hamilton, and they stopped in Ekatahuna to have a cup of tea and a biscuit, and they saw this exhibition out on the main street just by the coffee shop. And they went up, and there was Joe standing alongside. And the Queen went to him. "Ah, Mr. Dewey," she said, "we have forgotten the fart." So Joe, in my estimation, is a funny old geezer in his way, but he's also a little bit arty-farty.